Well, hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Jesus Girl Gang Kingdom Business Podcast. I'm your host, Christian business coach and online launch strategist, Erica Pyle. And I'm so excited to have you here today as we talk about a very interesting topic, something that I am constantly having conversations about in my Jesus Girl entrepreneurial community and beyond, honestly, if we're talking about, just like my social media conversations and things. And really what this is about is why you're still not making sales, even though you have all the tools. Is that you? Have you, been through all of the programs and, downloaded the templates and done all of the YouTube trainings and maybe even purchased workshops and then started to accumulate your toolkit of things that you need to go live in your business. And you're like, okay, but wait a second. I'm still not making sales. I have all the things. If you look in my auto pay of my bank account, my business bank account, I am paying for the same apps and the same programs and the same memberships that maybe other people are paying for, and they're really successful. Why is it that I am experiencing not the same thing? Well, if that's you, or if you're like, okay, Erica, I don't want to do all those things. I don't want to jump through all those hoops. I just want to know how to make consistent sales in my business right from the get-go. Then listen, either way, this episode is for you. I've been over the last few weeks putting together a new workshop that we're going to be offering here shortly. We're going to be running Ready for Sales, which is a 90-minute live interactive workshop that's happening on Tuesday, November 11th. And this is a workshop where I'm going to roll out the simple three-step system that you need to make sales consistently in 2026. Or look, if you want to implement faster, if you want to get all the pieces in place before then sister, knock yourself out, because you can actually get this system operating in a very simple, efficient, it's very doable, and you could start making sales consistently. Now, you might be like, Erica, how can you say that? Well, because I'm a business coach and I work with a lot of different women who are putting this stuff into practice. And what I've seen is when you have these three simple steps set up in your system, in your platform, and in the way that you run your business, it looks really good. Like the chances are really good that you'll be able to hit sales and then make consistent sales. Why? Because you need a system. I know it's like, I think that we're a little bit desensitized right now, because especially in social selling, over the last maybe like 2, 3, 4 years, maybe there's been a real push over there. And, if you're in online business, you can't escape people who are network marketing and social selling, direct sales. They are a lot of it's a very robust business online. And one of the best ways to do direct selling is to do it as an online seller, a direct, social seller. And so there's no shame in that game. But what I will say is that, there was a push a few years ago that was like, look, join my team because I have a system. I have a plug and play system. Well, they kind of burned some bridges with that, because the reality is you can have all the quote unquote plug and play systems that you want. If you're not the kind of person who can relay that system to someone, and if you don't have a support system in place so that when people don't know exactly how to implement it, how to build it out and implement it, how to do it, and if they need help problem solving, troubleshooting, if you're not that girl, if you're not that person, then a plug and play system isn't going to work for someone. So what we found is not only do you need to have a system that's designed, you need to have a strategy, you need to have the system that's step by step that you can teach and that people can build out for themselves, that it actually fits them. And then you also need to have the support. And so that's why I put together the Ready for Sales workshop. Like I said, that's coming up on Tuesday, November 11th. And we're going to walk through all three of those steps. And we're also I'm going to do a little coaching too. I'm going to take the top section of that workshop and we're going to talk mindset. We're going to talk mindset and identity. What it takes to be the entrepreneurial Jesus girl who makes consistent sales online. So if you are a faith-based or faith-driven coach, creator, or online educator, this is absolutely a program for you if you're looking to make consistent sales in your online business. And so if you want to get more information on it, if you want to get signed up, and I suggest you do, like, don't wait. Go to jesusgirlgang.com/ready for sales. All right. So I wanted to get into today, I wanted to talk about how is it that you can, you maybe you have your business set up. Last week we talked about the offer. Remember, we talked about the ultimate offer and defining your offer so that you know what it is that you're putting out there into the world. And we talked a little bit about maybe why your offer isn't connecting. And so I gave you some homework on that, and I gave you a worksheet. So I think it was ericapyle.com/offer grid, and you could download the offer grid and the ultimate offer worksheet and clarity worksheet, and you could put your offer together. And I told you, get it done, because when we get into the Ready for Sales workshop, we're not going to be talking about the offer in there. We're going to assume that you have an offer, you just want to get it out there for sale, and you want to make consistent sales. You want to run consistent sales to that offer. Okay, so if you've not done that yet, I want you to go back to episode 6, and I want you to cover that. But here's the deal. If you have an offer, that doesn't automatically mean that you can sell it. And I'm going to go back to the direct marketing situation for a minute, the direct sales, like social sales example. So it's like I used to do social selling. I used to do direct marketing like that. I was a part of an MLM. Still am, but doing that more as like an affiliate link. But if you're doing it as an actual business, right? So you're out there on social media, and you get into a team, and it's like, okay, it's real simple. You just share, like, get your bundle, and we'll have a sale, and you'll just share, and people will just buy. And it's like, what? Like, then they've got the questions that are like, well, how will they know to buy? Am I using the link sticker on my stories? Nobody can click into an IG post. Am I putting the link in the bio? Are we in are we in 2017? Are we sending people to our bio links? Like, what are we doing? And now there's the whole, DM automations and getting people to come into your DMs and comment this word and stuff like that. And it's like, there's all these different systems for selling. And it's like, it's not enough to just have an offer. You have to have a system that will consistently sell that offer for you. And if it's online, if you're selling online, then there are specific things that work, and there are things that now work against you. There are ways that if you try to sell, like I'm telling you, you use that link sticker in your stories, you're tanking your stories for at least 24 hours. There are these little things that you need to understand about the platforms and how they want you selling and how they don't want you selling. And so there's that aspect. And so I think, we'll cover a little bit of that in the Ready for Sales workshop, just because I think it's relevant. I'm going to talk in our bonus kickoff session about just kind of like the state of online selling right now and what I'm seeing, because there is like everyone's talking about it now, but there is a huge trust recession right now. And I'm seeing it even in my advertising and in my conversations that I'm having. It's like things that worked 2 months ago, like gangbusters, like real good. I have some pretty impressive stats in my ads, and I did the exact same things that have worked for me 3 other times, and it's not moving the needle the same. And I'm like, what is happening? And it's like, well, it's a trust recession. AI has increased and everyone's using it. And so now there's a lot of noise in the space, and a lot of people that are like, hey, I'm a coach. Hey, I can help you with this. And it's like, it's just so distracting. It's so much noise. And so it's trying to figure out, how do I make myself stand out? And how do I, make people to know that I'm the girl that can help them. I'm the person who can help them. And so I'm navigating that right now. But the trust recession thing is a big deal, and AI coming into play is a big deal. So if you've got an offer, you can't just assume that you're going to be able to sell it easy online. The days of the pop-up influencer, there are influencers, but you got to hustle for that. And you got to be in there and making content all the time. And content right now isn't even the big thing. I mean, I don't think that content is ever going to go away. It just means that there is so much content flooding the platforms right now because of AI, and because people are like, just words, just graphics, just things. And it's like, you need to make yourself relevant in a very specific way so that people can hear you and see what you have to offer. And so you need a sales system, a 3-step sales system that actually leverages the wisdom of how to do that. And I believe that the 3-step system that I'm going to be teaching in Ready for Sales is called the Kingdom Business Sales Acceleration System. It's, like I said, just 3 steps, and it involves a platform. It involves tech. So that's why today I wanted to talk about the fact that even if you think you have all the tech that you need, all the apps you need, that's not enough. You need a sales system, a system. That doesn't mean tech. The tech goes into a system. You have a strategy, and then as part of your strategy, you have a sales system. In your sales system, you utilize technology, and it's through that you make sales. Is this making sense? You have an overall business strategy. Okay, I've got one. It's called the 5-part Build with Faith framework. That's what I teach my students to work through when they're launching their business online. So that's my strategy, the 5-step Build with Faith framework. And then you need a sales system in that. And that is one of the parts of the strategy. So I've got the D of build is done with you tech and systems. And so I'm teaching the 3-part Kingdom Business Sales Acceleration System within that strategy, that framework, right? So I've got a strategy, and then within it, I have a system. And then the system, I build out the system in my technology, in my platform. This is making sense to you? And then when I do those 3 things, then next what happens is I start to make sales. Now, there is between the platform and putting it out there, you're going to have to get the word out. That's a different piece of it. But you cannot make the sales if you don't have the system set up in the tech. Okay? So if you're like, I have the tools, but I'm not making the sales, my question to you is going to be, well, do you have a strategy that you're building your business by? And most specifically, do you have a sales system? Do you have a system, a strategy just for sales so that you're telling the tech what to do? Because just having a landing page, for instance, that's not going to do it. You need specific copy, you need specific automations on the back end, you need specific delivery or confirmation emails that go off of that. Then there's a whole section in the middle that you need. We're going to get into it in a minute. And then you need a way to convert people to sales. So that's why, if you've got the offer and you're like, oh, but I'm still not making sales. Well, if you don't have a strategy or a system, even if you had the platform and the tech, I understand why you're not making sales. So let's fix that. So one thing that I want to bring in, because I always do, is scripture. I want to anchor this in scripture. And so one of my favorite stories in the Old Testament, book of Exodus, I say that, but I've got a lot of favorite stories. I could say that about a lot. I probably have a list of 25 favorite stories or more. But anyway, in Exodus, when Moses has the people in the wilderness and God is telling him to build the tabernacle. So, that starts in the 20s books. And in chapter 25, he says, build according to the pattern that I'll give you. And then now we're coming into chapter 31, and it's like, you know what? Look at this. It's like God gave him the strategy. He said, build according to the pattern that I'll give you. And he gave him the strategy. And he has this pattern, this blueprint for how to build the tabernacle. Now he needs a system. Here's what's wild, you guys. Could Moses build it all by himself? Did Moses go out there like Noah built the ark? Did Moses go over there and build the tabernacle on his own? No. Exodus 31:6 says this, I've given the ability to all the skilled workers to make everything I have commanded you. God said to him specifically, hey, listen, you do not have to go and build everything out because I didn't even equip you to build everything out. You get to implement these skilled workers that the other parts of the Bible, other parts of that scripture say that the Holy Spirit gave them the ability to be artisans, to be creative in these places. And so what Moses had to do is he had to set up a system. He had to say, okay, who are the people who are going to be doing the curtains, and who are the people that are going to be doing the implements for the temple? And he put this out to the different artisans and to the different people. And so this is a lot like what you need to do when you set up a sales system. You can have a strategy that's like, oh, I want to sell this offer. And you can even be like, I want to sell it online, and I want to use social media as one of my funnels. And, you could have all these ideas. But at some point, you're going to need to lock into a sales system. All right? So here's the question. and that picture should show you why having tools is not enough, because Moses could have had all the tools. He could have had every tool that was necessary, but according to the Bible, he wasn't anointed and equipped by the Holy Spirit to do all of the pieces. So he had to go find the people who could do it, right? So that's kind of how it is. You could have all the tools. You could have all the platform, apps, all the things, but if you don't know how to use them, and if you don't know how to string it together into an automation, into a workflow, you may not be making sales. Chances are you're probably not, unless you're like one-offing them and like doing a bunch of cold DMs and running people to like a Venmo account or a Cash App account or something. Like we got to get you in sales automation land. All right. So why are you not making sales even though you've got all the tools? All right. I really just want you to, I'm just going to call it out right at the beginning. Like many of us, when we are feeling like, I want to make this a legitimate business, we will go and we will purchase something like, say, Kajabi or FG Funnels or, ClickFunnels or even like Flowdesk or something that is like, I'm calling out these companies. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just what I'm saying to you is we will go and we will buy a platform access, or we'll buy some kind of like a suite of tech tools, because we're like, well, if I have the tools, then I'm in business, right? But the thing is, if you don't know how to use them, and if you don't know how to build in those things according to a pattern and according to a system that actually works to bring people who might get to know you and then start being interested, like you have to have a system that brings people along that process so you can turn strangers into happy buyers. And that's a sales system. You need a sales system to do that. So even though you may have bought all the templates and taken the courses and you've heard these really great ideas about strategies, that's not a sales system. At some point, you need to stop and you need to build. Now, listen, a few months ago, I did a workshop called the Jesus Girls Business Launch Lab. And in that workshop, I teach the 5-step Build with Faith framework. And here's what I'll tell you. Of all the people that came into that workshop, and I had so many lovely women who came into that workshop, every one of them would say, I'm in business. I want to do this business. But as you started to dig into their stories, it was, I'm doing all the things, but I'm feeling stuck. Some of them were like, I've been trying this for 6 or 7 years and it hasn't broken through. And can I tell you something? Some of those women who did the workshop, they came into my next program, which is called the Jesus Girls Business Blueprint. And that was an 8-week program that we just completed. And every single one of them, they didn't have the sales system set up. That's it. Like, we worked on mindset. We worked on offer. Don't get me wrong. We worked on mindset. We worked on offer. But beyond that, we had to set up the sales system. So I just need you to understand. I'm just telling you over and over and over again, like you can have all the tools, but if you don't have the system that you can build to, that you can build out and that you can utilize in an automation, it's not going to work. So here's the 3 signs that your tech is blocking your sales. Like whether it's the tech tangle, whether it's overwhelm, whether you don't have tech, because ultimately when it comes down to the sales system, I'm going to be honest with you, you do need a platform. You do. And I know for some people, they get really nervous when they're like, I don't want you selling me a platform. Why? Well, because they've tried platforms and they haven't gotten what they needed. They don't know how to use it. They don't know how to implement it. They don't know how to build on it. And they've got nobody to call. Well, I do have a platform. It's called the Kingdom Business Studio. And inside my programs, I offer my students the opportunity to come on that platform, and they absolutely love it. And I'm going to say the same thing about my platform as I would say about any of these others. You could get the platform, but if you don't get the build support and the tech support and the training that you need, if you don't have the system, and if you're not told the system, and if you don't have those workflows in your background, then my platform wouldn't work any better than anybody else's. But that's the difference. And when you become a part of my platform, which is something that I talk about later on, we will talk about it in the workshop, but that's not the main thrust of the workshop. The main thrust of the workshop that's coming up is the 3-step sales acceleration system that technically you can build on any platform. But there are 3 reasons why tech can wind up blocking your sales, whether you don't have it. And you could even be on something like an all-in-one integrated platform like mine and still be lost if you didn't have the level of done with you build support and tech support that you get when you come onto my platform. So this would be so the first reason why you could get blocked by the tech and not be able to get to consistent sales is that you're not truly launched. And I feel like we've talked about this for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of this segment is truly launched means that you have a strategy, you have a system, you've built out the system and you've implemented the system and it's running. To be truly launched, you need to actually have something that's out there for sale and not just you're on social media and you're telling people about it. It's how do they buy it? So you could have an offer, but maybe you have no way for people to opt in to your email list or no checkout page or no working funnel, sales funnel that helps them to get sold. And so you're doing all these one-off things in the DMs and people are this is a little shady. Even influencers these days, they've got their funnels worked out. And I know that for some of you, you might be I don't want to talk about a funnel. Okay, it's really hard to be a mom and pop online selling. It's so saturated out here that people out here that are buying on the internet, they expect at least a landing page. They expect at least a response email when they buy something, a receipt, a confirmation, a delivery email. They expect a flow. It's just, we've been doing it a long time now. So it's there are general standards out here. So if you want to keep on sending people to your personal PayPal link and trying to just get it done in this very casual way, you're not going to be able to have consistent sales. You're not going to be able to drive consistent sales that way. And so just having an offer and sharing about it socially isn't going to get you there. Like I said, you're selling in your DMs and you're praying that someone stumbles across your bio link. It's we're not doing that anymore. That's not actually having a business that you've launched. That's really living from a place of limbo. It's this is the pray and post zone. Do you know what I mean? It's you're posting and praying, you're praying and posting, you're hoping that someone finds you. And it's no. So you've got to really get launched. And what that means is you got to start with a strategy. I love my 5-step build with faith framework. And we've been talking about it here on the podcast. So just go back to the beginning episodes and I'm bringing you through it. We've talked about mindset and offer so far. And now I'm talking to you about building a sales system. So that's number one. You're not truly launched. Number two reason why tech can block you from making consistent sales is that you got a platform and the platform didn't solve it. You thought that getting an all-in-one platform was just, you were going to just log in and it was just going to be guiding you step by step through how to make a sale. And that's just not it. It's a toolbox. Any kind of platform like a Kajabi or, you name it, any of these system.io. There's so many all-in-one platforms right now. And so mine, Kingdom Business Studio is a all-in-one platform. But here's the thing. I was a user of a different all-in-one platform for a long time, and I had to rely on outside paid workshops, outside paid trainings to figure out how to use this software. And I was not in the intro level platform. I was in a higher tier and grandfathered in because I had an affiliate link, and I couldn't even get a real person face to face, even a Zoom chat support situation. I was relegated to the chat bot just like everybody else. And so, it's I'm sitting in there and I'm trying to figure out how do you use this builder and how do you make it do this? And it's incredibly overwhelming. And so when I built out Kingdom Business Studio with my tech expert partner, Kat Surgeon, we decided that we weren't going to build a platform where you couldn't get some level of face-to-face support. And so ever since we launched our program, we've always had something called Tech Tuesday, and she gets on a call with our members for at least an hour. Sometimes she's on there for an hour and a half, and she answers the questions around the tech. She's like helps them with how to build out according to this platform. If they're having problems and their glitches and stuff, she gets on there and she helps them. And she's not coaching like that. Our platform, like you don't get like business coaching in it. She's not going to tell you how to write your copy. She's not going to tell you how to implement the 5-step build with faith framework through it. But she's definitely going to help you to build out your sales system, your 3-step sales system, because that's what we do inside the Kingdom Business Studio. But so my point is like just having a platform and saying, well, I have a platform. Why isn't it working? I can show you 70% of my client base. That's how they come to me. They're like, I have all the tools. I don't need another tool, Erica. I need to know how to use the tools that I have. And in some cases, like I can help them to just use the tools that they have and we can make it work, but it is a real duct tape situation. And in some cases, those people have decided, no, we're going to come over to the Kingdom Business Studio and we're going to do it with you because we want this level of support and they want us to be able to see what's going on in their back end. And so that's something that we get to do together as well. And then the number 3 reason why, the tech can really get you blocked from making sales consistently is that, like I said, you're craving real support. You could be like, well, I built it out, but it's not working right. And I don't know how to fix this automation. And so it's not firing the right email. So I don't know. I guess I'll just manually send them something. I don't know. Like you can't get your questions answered. And it's like you don't need another tutorial. And I don't want anyone to have to go and buy another course or workshop to figure out how to do this. So that's why I decided to build the Ready for Sales workshop, because regardless of whether you already have tech and a platform or you don't, and you're just like, I don't even know where to start. I'm telling you, you need to start with the 3-step sales system. All right. So it's not that the pieces that you've purchased or the things that you've put together, they won't ever work. It's that you're missing integration and flow. Hear me. The real key here is when you have all the tools, but you're still not seeing sales, you're missing the flow and the integration. You're missing the system and how the system is supposed to flow. That's what Ready for Sales is going to do. It's going to show you how to put together, it's the map of the system. This is how I teach in my mentorship. It's the map of the system that you need, and then it gives you the integrated automation that you need behind the scenes to make those pieces work. And the 3 steps of the sales system work together. And so like I'm going to unpack all of this in the Ready for Sales workshop, but I'm going to tell you right now what they are because I don't gatekeep. Like I'm not going to not tell you what hello. Like if you want to dig in and do the whole YouTube University situation to try and figure this out for yourself, knock yourself out. I'm going to tell you what the 3 steps are. And then if you really want to learn, then you're going to spend the $17 and you're going to come into Ready for Sales. Okay, here they are. Number 1, you need an opt-in funnel. You need a way to attract people you need like leads. Okay. And there is no getting around this. Now, there are people online on social selling that are like, oh, you know what? It's enough that if I have them as my followers because I just show up and I sell on social all the time. Listen, if that's your funnel, knock yourself out. You can do it till you're blue in the face. But my deal is I do not want to rely on social media platforms for my community. I love serving my community on social media. I love finding my community on social media. But as quickly as I can, I get them onto my email list. There are too many statistics that tell me how much better I can sell from an email base than how I can sell from social media. Do I use social media to sell? Yes. Do I use ads on social media to sell? Yes. Do I use social media to nurture? Yes. But I make more consistent sales when I have people on my email list because they're hearing me from all different angles and I can serve them better. And so the first step of your sales system is an opt-in funnel. It is a way of gathering and capturing those leads and doing it in a way that they're now in your territory. They're now in your community. So your email list, it's super important. Second step of the sales system is a nurture step. Now, here's the deal. I know that there are people all over social media right now telling you to stop nurturing so much. I'm working with people that are like, Erica, be buyer first, be buyer first. Well, listen, I understand what they're saying, But I don't think that maybe they don't realize that what they're really saying is like, let's escalate, let's accelerate the nurture part of the journey. You cannot fake the funk. You cannot move people from didn't know you yesterday to buying from you tomorrow without nurturing them to a certain extent. Now, they might binge your content. They might. And that's why the second step becomes so important. I call it your content hub. Okay? So you need some form of long form content that I like to house in a content hub on your own real estate, on your own website. Now you might be like, Erica, I don't have a website. Well, can I tell you something really interesting and funny? My website, my homepage has been out of commission for a little while, but it's primarily because I've been selling so well using landing pages, my content hub, and my sales pages. Like I have a sales system in place that I would like to have my homepage redone and launched again, which we're working on. But right now I don't have it there, but it's not stopping me from doing what I'm doing, because it's not part of the 3-step sales system. It can be seen as a part of the nurture step, the nurture funnel, which is the content hub funnel. Because if people go to your content hub and then they try to click home and it's not there, and I have something there, I just don't. I haven't utilized it to its greatest potential. I am in the process of building it out, but you've got to understand that your content, it will move people faster to the sale. So that if someone lands on your opt-in page and they become your subscriber of your email list, and then you send them a response email that's like, hey, I'm so glad that you joined. Here's your freebie. Here's the opt-in that you signed up for. Hey, by the way, you're on my newsletter list now, and I just want to tell you what's coming up in the future for you. I send an email out once a week. I do a podcast episode once a week, and so I'm going to tell you about it. And I tell them right there in the email, like, hey, look, if you don't want to hear anything else from me, the unsubscribe button's right there, but here's what you are going to get from me. And my email every week sends them to my content hub. And here's the deal. If it's the middle of the night and someone just opted in from me to my list and they're like, no, what else you got? Well, listen, I have a whole content hub where they can go through and they can be like, oh, I want to listen to this, or I want to read this. And they're being nurtured. I'm telling you, people don't go from joining your email list to immediately buying like that. They're going to do a little bit of clicking around. Sometimes they do it on your social media, but having your own content hub where you have like the information that is like broad and they can dig in and go as deep as they want. But here's the difference. This is why it's important. Hear me in this. People cannot build trust with you on short form content. They're not going to go to your social media feed and go through your feed and build trust with you on snippets of 20 seconds or little carousels. They're going to need at least 20 minutes of you talking about something. They want to know if you're their person. And so even if that person opts in at 10 o'clock at night and then at 11 o'clock looks at like 2 or 3 of your 20-minute content pieces and it's like, yes, this is exactly what I need. And then they buy into your program right then and there within the span of an hour or two, they were still nurtured. So I think this is just like a little marketing spiel, is like, you don't need that. Like, let me show you how to accelerate that. So fine. I'm teaching you how to accelerate the nurture state. Cool. But your first step of the sales system is to have an opt-in page where you can gather leads, where you can capture leads. The second part is this content hub where you can nurture people and build real relationship and trust. And then the third step of the sales system is, a sales page. You got to have a place where they can convert, where they can go through a checkout. So that's 3 steps. Now, I got a lot to tell you about those 3 things. There are very specific things that you should know. And that's why I'm bringing in my tech expert, the girl who's been with me for the last, we've been good at running sales funnels and running people through funnels like this for probably the last 3 years. We finally hit it and we were like, okay, now we know how to do it. And she's been with me every step of the way. And we've been building these things out together. And we've been, converting interested people into being customers and then raving customers and repeat customers through this same 3-step sales system. And why I say that it's an acceleration system is because once you have it in place and you can tweak little pieces, you'll see it accelerates. It's like Once it's working, then you just optimize. And so that's what we're teaching inside the 3-step, the Ready for Sales workshop. And so I really want to encourage you to come and be a part of it. Like I said, it's just $17. You can go to jesusgirlgang.com/readyforsales and you can learn about it. And if you're like, Erica, but what if, like, you talked about your platform, what if I don't want to use your platform? Okay. You still get in the workshop, there are bonuses of a kickoff mindset session. And then we've got the ultimate Q&A that happens the day after the workshop. And you can ask all your questions. We have a pop-up group. We have a community during the week of the workshop, and you can be engaged in there and you can ask questions. I won't know your specific software, your specific mix of tech, but the system that I'm teaching, the 3-step system that I'm teaching, you could build out on any system. I cannot speak for their support. I cannot speak to they don't have a cat surgeon, so they don't have someone who's willing to get on Tech Tuesdays with our customers and our members and work through the build and tech questions every single week like that. But we have that. So, but my point is, if you want to just come to the workshop and learn about the 3-step sales acceleration system and then look to implement it in your own platform, it's totally doable. I'm just going to keep on telling you the reason why I do things like this is because I know that what's missing out here in this space right now online is done with you. I am so tired of people saying that they're doing it with you when they're offering you replay lists of videos that have been repackaged from programs that they taught last year. And there's nowhere for you to ask questions. There's nowhere for you to get the help so you can apply it to your own business. I get hot about it. Seriously, it makes me ask my team. I get really lit up about it because I'm like, be accountable to your advertising and your promotion. Be accountable to the people because there's a little bit of low-key lying going on out there. And I think that people are scrambling right now to change their business models because they realize, no, we actually need to provide support. Now, I've seen some really upstanding people shift their whole business model over the last 6 months. And this is the only business model that I've ever done. But I've seen other people that were working on numbers. They were working on just like how many people can we crank through this repurposed course or this evergreen course. And now they're realizing like people are not falling for that anymore. They're like, no, I'm not going to take your course if afterwards I can't ask my questions or during I can't ask my questions and figure out how to implement it. So I am very passionate about everything that I offer. You are going to get that Done With You touch. And this workshop is $17. And I really believe you're going to get tremendous value. I mean, I think we've estimated the value at hundreds of dollars. So I want to see you in there. I want you to come and see me in there. All right. Now, let me just talk about your micro activation step for this week, because when we do these episodes, I don't let you go without your homework for the week, right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to diagnose your own sales block. And the way I want you to do that is to determine what step of this 3-part sales system do you not have in place or do you not have worked out and set up? What isn't functioning for you? So I want you to open a blank Google Doc or get your business notebook in front of you, open it up, clean page, and I want you to answer these 4 questions. Number 1, where are people discovering you? Where are they discovering you? Because that is like the open door. Okay, we didn't talk about that in the sales system today, but the reality is you've got to put yourself out there. So whether you're using organic social media or you're using ads on social media, or whether you're relying on the SEO and keywords that you're building into your blog or into a podcast or into, YouTube video show, you need to have a plan in place for how to attract people to you so that they can know that you have a sales system in place. Okay, so where are you being found? Where do your people find you? Then number 2 question is, how are you capturing their email? You're like, Erica, I'm just getting them to follow me. Okay, well then sis, we need to fix that. You need to actually capture email. Okay, number 3 question, what happens after they opt in to your email list? What happens? Are they just on there and they don't hear from you again for another year? Until maybe you have something to offer? Or are you nurturing them? Are you providing them with content from your content hub that is actually helping them to see how your offer could help them and moving them towards the sale. Okay. So that's number 3, what happens after they opt in. And number 4, how are you inviting them to buy? And I'm talking like, not just like talking about, I'm like technically, how do they buy from you? Because that might be the issue. If you've got some clunky, like strung together plan, we got to fix that. Okay. So those are the 4 questions. Where are people discovering you? Number 2, how are you capturing their email? Number 3, what happens after they opt in? And number 4, how are you inviting them to buy? These are all in the description of this post. Okay. If any of that feels unclear, then that's where the sales block is, and we can totally fix it together. Where are we going to do that? We're going to do it in the Ready for Sales workshop. So I want you to head over to jesusgirlgang.com/ready for sales. And I want you to get signed up for the workshop. We start in less than 2 weeks, my friend. I don't want you to miss it. All right. This has been an extra special episode. I've given you so many goodies in here. So listen, don't forget, if you want to have a conversation about any of this, you're going to have to find me over on Instagram. Go to @Erica Pyle. I'll be over there, and then drop in the DMs KBP or Kingdom Business Podcast. Let me know that you are a listener over here and tell me where you are in your journey. If you did register for Ready for Sales, let me know over there. I want us to be connected, and that's the place that we can have the conversations. Okay? All right, friend, that's what I have for you this week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.